Hey, welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. We have got a lot going on to talk about in the Big Ten. It is the episode where we will recap the Big Ten championship game. I already have Dick in the comments there asking if we have a Purdue guy on tonight because they need some defending. Dick, I will be your honorary Purdue defender tonight. I don't know if I will do it well enough to your liking, but I did have a Purdue fan messaging me today saying that he needs to come on the Big Ten Huddle. So I think we have him scheduled for Wednesday. So rest assured, Dick, there will be a Purdue representative here soon to defend you all. So, but we do have Illinois fan Sonny, who is always fair with the Purdue fans. Sonny, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, feeling good. Got a little championship to savor and enjoy for a Sunday night. So let's go.
There we go. All right. And then we have Brant, the CEO of Big Banter Sports with us tonight. Brant, how you doing?
Hey, man. Doing great. Thanks for having me on. Super excited for some March Madness here. I mean, Selection Sunday always just has a special feel to it. So super excited for the upcoming week.
Very good. Yeah, we're going to have a great time. We're going to recap the Big Ten championship game. We're also going to talk about some of the bracket. We're going to go through and actually make picks for all the games. I understand we've not had time to do like a ton of research or anything like that. So a lot of these picks are going to be going off vibes. And, I pay a lot more attention to the Big Ten than I do any other, league out there. I mean, I know James Madison. I've watched them. I know Indiana State, which, unfortunately, Indiana State's not in the bracket. That's just a travesty on all of March. We needed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in there, but I won't go on and on about it. And we're also going to talk about the NIT when that comes out. That's supposed to come out at 9:30. So once we can get the bracket for that, we'll pull that up on screen and talk about the Big Ten teams that are in the NIT. So before we get to that, do want to remind you, please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. I've forgotten to say that on like the past 5 podcasts because it's been like midnight and I've been dead tired and I'm kind of a zombie, but I'm better rested today. I'm ready to go. And do check out Big Banter Sports, bigbantersports.com for all your Big Ten media needs. Our podcast is brought to you by them. We appreciate them. And many of our guests do come from them as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. We have Illinois taking down Wisconsin. I guess Wisconsin trying to take down Illinois, seeding, whatever you want to call it. But Illinois, they won this game, and Wisconsin kind of had the vibes there for a little while. They had the advantage for a little bit and kind of the momentum and stuff like that. But Illinois came storming back, and Illinois did what Illinois does best, which is play Illinois basketball, and they kind of baited Wisconsin into it. As soon as I saw Wisconsin trying to get out and run, I was like, no, you're not doing you're not doing what Purdue did, which is the formula to beat this team. You have to slow down the pace. You're not going to win a running match with Illinois. And, of course, they got into the running match, and Illinois just kind of took over from there. Sonny, I know you probably have so many thoughts on this game, and that was probably one of them, so I've probably taken one of your talking points. I do apologize. But what were your thoughts?
You kind of led into it. There's only maybe 5 or 6 teams in the country that can kind of keep up with Illinois on their best offensive day. And Wisconsin is just not one of them. The only way, I don't know if you were paying attention on Saturday, Nebraska was up 15 on Illinois. And I kind of posted up my bet slip of taking them live plus 230 because, again, what I saw was Nebraska was just trying to out Illinois, and that just never works. So they came back, they won. All 3 games that Illinois played, they were down double digits. And, we've come back to win both, like Ohio State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, 3 of the hotter teams in the conference. For me, as an Illinois fan, it was really nice to see that this team is really gelling together at the right time. We've won, I think, 7 of our last 8, with the sole loss to Purdue. It's just I talked about it on my show in the Illini Cast post game. This group of guys is, if you are familiar and you follow their story, it's a really likable group. And for them now, that no matter what happens next week, because obviously that's what's going to ultimately matter. Now that this group of guys is going to have a banner, some hardware that's basically always going to be remembered by the Illini history books, it means a lot to me because, we were 4th in the preseason poll, I believe. We looked like we were a top 5 team in the country in December. And then, obviously the whole Terrence Shannon legal issues happened. We had to play 6 games without him. We had to bring him back, and we just kind of reincorporated. The team just kept developing and moving forward. And I can't tell the last time I had this much fun watching a basketball team. And, it's Wisconsin put up a fight. Illinois took their best punch, and they ultimately came out on top. Seeing Terrence Shannon Jr. finish second all time in the Big Ten tournament points. And I think he's second by 1 point, and yet he only played 3 games where the other guys all played 4 games. So it's just, we all heard the chants he was getting at the beginning of the game, and to hear at the end of the game, MVP chants throughout the stadium. I was super happy for the kid, and it's just one of the more enjoyable experiences I've ever had as an Illinois fan.
Yeah. Were you weren't there for it though, were you?
No, I wasn't there.
No.
I'm at home. Yeah.
I have so many people who have gone to the games, and I'm losing track of who's been there and who's not been there. So, but yeah, no, seriously, a great night for Illinois. There was a lot to be made about, does Purdue even care about the Big Ten tournament? And, should they even care? And should other teams even care if they're already in? Yada, yada, yada. And at the end of the day, we can say some people don't care and some people do. But once you taste that victory, you taste that championship, it's like, yes, we care, and it's worth it. And I think anybody would say they do. And I mean, I told Dick I would defend them. Props to Purdue for playing their guys and actually trying to win it, even when all their fans, and myself included, was saying, sit Braden. They still went after it because they wanted to win it. That's what that team is full of, and that's what Illinois is full of as well. They're full of winners, guys who are hungry for that. So, Brant, your thoughts on Illinois' win over Wisconsin for the Big Ten championship?
Yeah, I know Sonny kind of already touched on this, but my biggest takeaway from the past 3 days of this Illini team is the way they've been able to take punch after punch, day in and day out. Sonny mentioned it, but they were trailing by 10 plus points in all 3 games, and the way that they were able to just battle back, stay in, don't lose sight, and ultimately bring home the title to Champaign. It was encouraging to see, and I'd say puts my hopes a little higher for what this team can do in the NCAA tournament than maybe previously what kind of where I was at on them before the Big Ten tournament. I was really impressed with the way that it doesn't matter what the score is on the scoreboard, they're still in the game. So that was what really impressed me. The thing with Terrence Shannon, he just plays. I almost don't even like watching him play because he plays like a James Harden kind of style, where he just sometimes it seems like he's not even looking to actually put the ball into the hoop. He's just looking for the foul. So it'll be interesting to see how that carries over. Not playing, in the Big Ten anymore. It'll be a different kind of play style. But I mean, he's been really, really impressive the past few days.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Was it felt like it was Terrence Shannon Jr. every single game, but it felt like you had a piece to Terrence Shannon Jr. to help him. I mean, what was it? Dane Danger the first game was kind of that piece. Luke Goody was the second game, which, I mean, I think it was only 12 points he had, but still all those threes he hit were at really big times when you needed something. And Seti, I saw you tweeting during the game, so I'm going to push back a little bit on you here, that you thought Luke Goody should have been out of the game because he wasn't hitting a shot. And I get that. But the amount of spacing that he was providing for your team to be able to get into the lane and do something, I don't think you would have got that same spacing with a Ty Rodgers, maybe a Justin Harmon, but Justin Harmon hasn't been playing well in the tournament. To me, I liked that Brad went with Luke Goody. I like that he was like, hey, even though he's not hitting, he was hitting last game, and he's still a big enough threat that they have to respect him out on the 3-point line. And that's what I saw from Wisconsin is when Ty Rodgers was in there, they were sagging off of them and they were making it a little bit more difficult to get into the lane. But when Luke Goody was in there, they had to remain tight on him, and there were those driving lanes a little bit more. I'm curious your thoughts on that. Not that I'm saying you're wrong or anything, but just difference of opinion, if you have any further thoughts.
For me, it's the timing of it. With 5 minutes left and when we have the lead, if Luke Goody's not making those threes, then I want Ty in there because Ty gets those hustle rebounds. He'll get you a second rebound. He plays his butt off on defense. Luke Goody also, like if you recall, he got hurt in the first half. and he was noticeably grimacing throughout. So I wasn't sure what kind of pain he was dealing with. Goody's kind of had a roller coaster season for us this year, and a lot of the fingers were kind of pointed at him in particular. I think it was the Penn State game, because he tries really, really hard, but he's not necessarily a great rebounder. He's not necessarily a great defender. And so for me, with the conference title on the line, and we had just seen Ty Rodgers get that offensive rebound and pass it out to, I think it was Goody or Damask actually, for that 3-pointer. I wanted Ty in there just because I think the intangibles that he provides is what we kind of needed to close out Wisconsin. I mean, when it comes to offensive guys, we have so many on our team that we can make it work. It's someone to do the dirty work, to get the extra possession, to make it tough for the Wisconsin guys to score. That's where my issue came in at the end of the game with 5 minutes left, with 2 minutes left. That's when I wanted to have Brad take Goody out.
That makes sense. I can see both sides of it there. Brant, we haven't really talked much about Wisconsin. I kind of made a little note about Chucky Hepburn. It was kind of sad for him to, if you noticed, did you guys watch the selection Sunday when Wisconsin came up? Like, the guys around him are all like really happy, and he's just sitting there like literally no emotion. Like, he's just sitting there, and I'm like, man, there's something going through him right now. He really, really wanted that Big Ten championship. And, unfortunately for him, he missed a couple layups. He missed a couple shots there at the end of the game that would have kept him in the game. And I don't know if, what the deal was, because I don't think he was pressured all that. It wasn't like Zach Edey was around the rim or anything like that, and Coleman Hawkins is a good shot blocker, but he, I don't think he was in that good a position to make it that difficult of a shot. But Brant, just your thoughts on this Wisconsin team doing really, really well. They struggled, and then now they're doing well again. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they did have that slump there where they went on a crazy losing streak just kind of out of nowhere. But to see them kind of, bring it back together to beat Purdue in overtime, and then to have Illinois, on the ropes, and then, I mean, even starting way back if they went over Maryland on their first game, where they just absolutely blew the doors off them. It's encouraging to see them kind of hitting their stride again, get a little bit of a second wind on their season. And Chucky Hepburn is probably, I'd say, easily the number one reason that's happening. He's playing insanely great basketball right now. So yeah, definitely have to feel for him. It seems like he left everything out there on the court this past weekend. But he's got another chance to get out there and go in it with his guys. Not going to be an easy path for Wisconsin. That James Madison team is frisky. So that's going to be a really fun game. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that here in a second, but definitely excited for them to potentially go out and maybe make it to the second weekend. I think there's a little bit more hope, like I said, with Illinois than I previously had for them before this Big Ten tournament run.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens with Wisconsin. I'm sure we'll spend a little bit extra time on all the Big Ten teams, but when we get to the bracket, I'm sure all of us will have our thoughts on that game. So, Sonny, we'll wrap it up here. Just any more additional thoughts on this game, this Illinois team, moving into the tournament? Anything there before we move on?
No, I mean, it was just fun watching the Terrence Shannon versus Storr battle today. You could see it was just two alphas going back and forth. Shannon was guarding Storr on the defensive end, which, I really respect that. He's such a two-way player, whereas Hepburn was guarding Shannon on that end. And it was good. This was one of the more entertaining basketball games I watched all season long. And I say that if you're a Wisconsin fan or if you're an Illinois fan. Of course, officiating got involved, but there's no game that we've ever watched where the consensus was the officiating was fine. But it was just a good game. Again, I'm really proud of Illinois, and Coleman Hawkins gets his three-time champ now to get back at the Sleepers media guys. So it's fun. Again, ultimately, I just wanted this team to have that recognition, and now in the history books moving forward, they will.
I think Sleepers said they're wearing Coleman Hawkins jerseys tonight, so maybe
that, yeah.
Maybe you'll feel good about that. So, all right, let's move on from here. We're going to go to the NCAA tournament stuff. I'm going to have to switch my screen up a little bit, so give me a second. There we go. All right. So the way we're going to do this is kind of like the way we did this with the Big Ten tournament. We're going to go through each game, just kind of maybe give our vibes a little bit on the game. Each of us will choose who we think is going to win, and then whoever has the majority in the game will be the deciding factor there. So, for example, if I think Florida Atlantic is going to win, but Sonny and Brant both think Northwestern's going to win, we will go with Northwestern and see how the bracket turns out. This will be in the official bracket challenge of the Big Ten Huddle. Brant and Sonny can fill out their own as well if they would like to, but I'll fill out a separate one other than this. But this will be JR, Brant, and Sonny, and we'll see either how bad we are together, how good we are together. Who knows? Maybe we need to fill out brackets together more often. I suppose we'll find out. But if you do want to join the Big Ten Huddles bracket challenge, please do go on over to the description or over to my Twitter, the Big Ten Huddle, and the information is there. There's a link. You can go ahead and enter yourself in, and the winner gets a free t-shirt from Home Field. So go check it out. And Kent did ask me tonight to mention that he has his bracket challenge going on over on Sleeper as well. Go check it out on his Twitter. I'm sure he'll be talking about that on the Big Ten Huddle when he comes on here in the next few weeks. All right, guys, you ready for this? Let's start the UConn Stetson. I don't know how much time we need to spend on this game. Is anybody picking anybody other than UConn?
No.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got our first one there. All right, Brant, we'll start with you on Florida Atlantic, Northwestern. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a really interesting game. Northwestern playing some good ball, even with their team banged up. Obviously, Ty Berry's been out for a while. I think having no Matthew Nicholson, though, could be huge in this game because Florida Atlantic likes to get things going through their big guy, Golden, in the middle. And they're very fast-paced offensive team, kind of that Illinois style of ball where you're just up and down the court, kind of trying to outrun the opponent. If they can stick to that game, it's going to be a tough one for Northwestern to win. But I also don't think Florida Atlantic has a guy like Boo Boo who can just step in and take a game over. And for that reason, I mean, this is the Big Ten Huddle. This isn't the AAC Huddle. We're going with Northwestern.
Sonny, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think every NCAA tournament, there's always names that are kind of introduced to the rest of the country. Big Ten folks, we know all about Boo Buoy. I think the national media and fans, they're going to learn about Boo Buoy next weekend.
All right. I'll go Northwestern as well. I kind of was leaning Florida Atlantic, but you guys convinced me. So I'll go with Northwestern here. So, all right. Our next one has another Cinderella from last year in it, San Diego State. Their coach there. I've heard some Michigan fans actually clamoring for him a little bit to come to Michigan. I don't think it's very likely, but it could happen. Brian Dutcher, something like that. But they're playing UAB. UAB was playing earlier today, beat Temple. Looked like a pretty good team. Sonny, let's start with you. Your thoughts, who you think will win between San Diego State and UAB?
I wish I knew the other 5-12 matchups off the top of my head because there's always an upset. But I'll just go with San Diego State.
Yeah, I think San Diego State too. Brant, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's some other 5-12 matchups where I like the 12, but I'm going to have to go San Diego State here.
Sweet. All right, Auburn and Yale. I'll share first on this one. I think Auburn is one of the hottest teams in the country right now, doing really well. This Yale team, they did well in the Ivy League, but the best team in the Ivy League this year was Princeton, and good for Yale that they were able to win the Ivy League. But I'm going to go with Auburn in this one. Sonny, you have any thoughts?
Nope, definitely Auburn.
All right, Brant, you agree, Auburn?
Yeah, definitely think Auburn should overpower them in really every aspect there. Should be an easy one.
Yeah. BYU and I don't even know how to say their name. Desquan. I don't know. I was watching their game earlier and I was like, I need to learn the Dukes. I know they're the Dukes. All right. Brant, let's.
It's just Duquesne, I think.
Is it Duquesne? All right.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names and pronunciations. Anyway, Brant, save me. What are your thoughts on BYU versus the Dukes?
Yeah, the Dukes look solid, but I'm just going to have to roll with BYU again. This is just another team. I really like their tempo, and if they're knocking shots down, they can beat really about anybody.
Yeah.
You
think the same, Sonny?
Yeah, I got BYU going.
Yeah. All right. Sonny, we'll let you start out with Illinois, Morehead State. What do you think?
I really hope it's Illinois. I really, really hope it's Illinois in this game.
Are you really nervous though?
I mean, I wouldn't say nervous. I mean, of course, this is a team that we should beat, but BYU likes to shoot threes, and with those type of teams in tournaments, we all know about the Illinois defense as of late, and if one team just gets super, super hot, who knows? But no, I'm pretty confident that we should be able to take care of Morehead State.
KenPom has them with a 12-point victory. So, Brant, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, 12. I think they should win it by 12 plus. I honestly don't know anything about Morehead State, so that could be a completely wrong take. But I just think Illinois is playing good ball right now.
Yeah, and I think Illinois can get out and run with the team, even if they're shooting threes well. I don't think that Morehead State has the size or the athleticism to compete with Illinois. They're going to have some crazy kind of Wisconsin versus Maryland shooting performance in order to beat Illinois. So I think so too. So we'll go with Illinois there. Washington State, Drake. This is actually where I'll go with my first upset. I think it's going to be Drake. I don't really like this Washington State team all that much. I think they're well coached, and I think that they play smart. But as we know, smart and well coached doesn't always win in the NCAA tournament. So I'm going to go with Drake. Brant, what are your thoughts?
I'm with you on Drake too. That was a team that was completely on fire against Indiana State, and also, it's hard to pick Drake when they robbed us of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the tournament, but I think they can get it done here.
All right, let's go with Drake then.
All right. Even though they robbed us, we will pay their respects. So, hey, the father-son duo, that could be like a good March Madness story, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Iowa State, South Dakota State. Sonny, any reason to pick South Dakota State here?
Not on my end.
All right. Brant, you good with Iowa State too?
All Cyclones.
All right. Let's just stay with this region. We'll go all the way through, and then we'll get to the next region. Iowa State, Drake, Sonny, what are your thoughts?
In my bracket, I actually put Drake winning. I think this is going to be one of the big upsets. So I'm personally just going to say Drake here.
What do you think, Brant?
I'm going to roll with Iowa State. I just think that defensively, Drake doesn't have what it takes to stack up with Iowa State.
Oh, man. I am the deciding vote here. Iowa State, they seem like choke artists. Let's go with Drake. I don't really know if that's true or not.
I respect it.
I just want Drake to win, so we'll go with Drake. BYU, Illinois. BYU is a very, very good shooting team. I know that they take a good amount of threes and can hit threes really well. They're kind of similar to Morehead State, a little bit more athletic, but they are pretty putrid on defense. From what I've seen, I don't have the statistics right in front of me, but I know that's not exactly their strong suit. So, Sonny, let's go back to you again. You still picking Illinois to beat the Mormon BYUs in this one?
I am. Again, it's in order for BYU to win, they've got to out Illinois, and I just don't see that happening. Illinois, the first two games are gonna have the two best players on the court each time, and so I'm gonna trust the guys to be ready and make it out of that first weekend.
Come to think of it, BYU, I just checked KenPom. They actually have a better defense than Illinois, which is interesting, but Illinois' offense is substantially better. Brant, your thoughts?
Solely because Sonny is here with us, and to have Illinois losing on the first weekend on a bracket attached to Sonny's name, I'm going to go with the Cougars. I also just think that it's Brad Underwood. When have we ever seen him get past the first weekend? It seems like it's something that could happen, and that will happen. So give me BYU.
You know what, Brent? It's going to happen this year. They're going to the Sweet 16. I'm picking it. I believe in them, maybe foolishly, but I believe in them. I'm sure the chat is – I'm not checking the chat right now. So, sorry, chat, if you're screaming at me to not pick Illinois, but I'm picking them. All right, Auburn, San Diego State. San Diego State, I remember last year they actually beat Alabama. So, facing off against Alabama's rival in this one. So, that's a kind of an interesting storyline based on last year. But, Brant, we'll go to you first with this one. What are your thoughts on Auburn, San Diego State?
Yeah, I think this is a really fun potential matchup. But like you said, Auburn's just super, super hot right now. They're kind of running teams off the court. San Diego State, same can be said. They're just not as dominant as they were last season. I mean, the Mountain West is probably a little stronger of a conference this year too, but I think Auburn will get this one done pretty handily.
Yeah, Auburn defeats San Diego State in both offense and defense on Kid Palm, I think. Yeah, they're 4th in defense, 10th on offense. San Diego State 62nd on offense, 9th on defense. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Auburn in this one as well. Sonny, you have any thoughts, even though we both chose Auburn?
No, we're good with Auburn.
Okay. UConn, Northwestern. I don't think you guys are going to change my opinion on this one. Unfortunately, I have to pick UConn. I know this isn't the Big East Huddle, but UConn is very impressive. Sonny?
All right. You've convinced me, JR. We'll go with UConn. That's fine.
Brant, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, for me, it's those top 3 seeds are just that much more dominant than kind of the rest of the field. And I think it's going to take a lot to knock off a team like UConn, Purdue, or completely or Houston. Northwestern's not the team to get it done.
Yeah, maybe if they were completely healthy, but even then, I don't think I'd pick them. So
yeah,
but hey, they did beat a really good team. Of course, it was at home, so that also impacts it. But all right, UConn and Auburn in this one. Brant, let's go to you first. The hot Auburn versus possibly the best team in the country in UConn. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is where UConn faces their biggest test, obviously, if Auburn ends up making it there. But I still just think that UConn rolls through them.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think the SEC is as strong as some people are giving it credit for this year, and I do think the Big East is a stronger conference, and UConn played better in the Big East than Auburn did. So, Sonny, you have any thoughts before we move on?
No, I just feel. I mean, I think I saw a stat that 4 of the top 16 Ken Palm teams are in this bracket. 2 of the top 4. It's really a gauntlet, and Illinois never really seems to get the good end of the stick when it comes to this bracket. But I think Auburn can beat UConn, and I think that's going to be probably one of the better matches of this tournament. But I'm with you guys. Yeah, UConn prevails.
Yep. All right, Sonny, Illinois and Drake. What do you think about this matchup?
ILL. I'm telling you, I have a different feeling about this team. I'm not going to abandon them now. So I think we take care of Drake. We got bigger guys, and we can play the small school style with better athletes. So I'm going to go with Illinois.
All right, Brant, what do you think?
I'm going to go I. Give me the Illini.
All right.
I think, making it to the second week is always tough, but now they're here and they're playing Drake. Why not the Illini? Rep the Big Ten and the Elite Eight.
I kind of feel the same way with Drake that I did with BYU. I know this region is loaded, but I do kind of like this path for Illinois. If they can get past Morehead State without them going crazy and getting there, I think they can take care of Drake. So, but this is the game that I might have to stop picking the Illini. Sonny, I do apologize. I know that's probably not your favorite, but I'm gonna have to pick UConn here. Are you still picking the Illini, Sonny?
Only because I'm pretty confident I know what Brant is going to go with. I'm going to just go down with the ship so that if by some chance Illinois were to have this matchup and win, I can come back to the show and say, see, I predicted we'd win. So I'm just going to say Illinois.
All right. What do you think, Brant?
There we go. Just to put it on paper, I'm going to pick Illinois just so you got the receipts.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow. All right, Brant. Okay. I love it.
It's the Big Ten Huddle. We got to put one Big Ten team in the Final Four. Wow. I know with the crowd we got here, it's not going to be Purdue. So we're going
My plan was Wisconsin. What would you guys?
We're going to piss a lot of people off. This is going to piss a lot of people off.
All right, 116 playing game versus North Carolina. We're all picking North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Another Big Ten team here is the 9 seed versus Mississippi State. I have my thoughts, but I'll let you guys go first. Brant, what do you think about Michigan State versus Mississippi State?
Michigan State's just absolute frauds, and their spot in the tournament should have been at least in Dayton, if even in the tournament. So I was kind of surprised to see them on the 9 line. I know a lot of people were as well. I think Mississippi State just outplays them in every aspect. Defensively, I'm not sure where they stack up in Ken Palm defensively, but just
20.
from the eye test too. This is a good defensive squad. and they can knock down shots. I think if it's going to be a really Big Ten style type of game, one of those lower scoring games, I feel like, and I just think Mississippi State is going to take care of business.
All right, Sonny, what do you think?
See, I can see this going both ways. A lot of people have been talking about how Michigan State doesn't belong, so I can see them just falter out of the tournament and barely make any sort of impression. But I can also see the whole Tom Izzo factor. Tom Izzo in March, then all of a sudden they make it to the Sweet 16. But for the purposes of moving along, I'll go ahead and say Mississippi State.
All right, that's fine. Hold on. Do you guys know who Mississippi State's signature win was out of conference?
I do not. I'm assuming do they have a bad non-conference schedule?
They lost to Southern and Georgia Tech at a conference, and their two signature wins, which I guess you can debate on who are the two here, are Northwestern and Washington State. Forgive me, but I mean, I know they beat Tennessee, but this is a Mississippi State team that I just don't believe in. So I would pick Michigan State if we could, but you guys both went with Mississippi State. So I'll honor it, but I think I do kind of feel like Michigan State is frauds, but boy, do I think Mississippi State is more frauds than Michigan State. But it's fine, whatever. We'll go with that. So I will honor the rules that we first went with. So, all right, St. Mary's, Grand Canyon. I'll go first here. I like Grand Canyon, guys. I think Grand Canyon has a some really good players. I think they have a star on their team that his name is escaping me right now, but he could be a NBA type of caliber player. And at the end of the day, I just think the West Coast Conference is not as good this year as they were previously. And St. Mary's is getting the same amount of love they normally do, even though the conference isn't as good. So I'm going to go with Grand Canyon. Brant, what do you think?
I'm going to go St. Mary's here. It seems like Grand Canyon's kind of the easy upset pick here. And they only had like 3 or 4 losses this year. They're definitely a rock solid squad. But I'm just going to have to go with St. Mary's.
All right. What do you think, Sonny?
I'm going to go with, Grand Canyon's won me a lot of money betting on them. So I'm going to go with Grand Canyon. I honestly couldn't tell you much about either team.
Thank you, Russ. Speaking of fading a conference, St. Mary and Gonzaga both way overseeded. I could not agree more, Russ. Thank you. So, what did you say, Sonny? You said St. Mary still?
No, I went with Grand Canyon.
You went with Grand Canyon? Okay. All right, we'll go with Grand Canyon then. All right, we got a couple super chats here we're going to get to. Dave Walensky, thank you for the 5. Every one of the first 4 out should have made the tournament over Michigan State. I cannot say that I disagree with that. Seton Hall, who were they? Seton Hall, Oklahoma, Indiana State, and who was the 4th one? I'm forgetting who the 4th one is, but I remember looking at that and thinking to myself, how was Michigan State a 9 seed and on the bubble? So you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, nice. I mean, I mentioned it when we were going over the game. Then being on the 9 line was pretty crazy, and there's no team that was on the first 4 out that I probably would not put above Michigan State.
Yeah, and I think like Oregon and NC State, as Philip is pointing out in the chat, they kind of help that as well. But Sonny, any thoughts?
No, I think it's simply the Izzo factor got them in, and now it's up to them to either perform or either shut everyone up or hear the wrath.
There we go. Bowler Express, Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for the 2. A donation to get Brant some lighting.
I appreciate it, Dylan. I'll pitch that towards my lighting fund.
I'll Venmo it to you later, Brant, and you can stop by Walmart.
Appreciate it.
Oh, that's hilarious, Dylan. Thank you. All right, guys, let's go back to it. Alabama, Charleston. Charleston's a good team. I think they're well coached. But at the end of the day, I just think Alabama's too much. They've been a little streaky this season, but I still think they're the better team in this one, and they should take it. Sonny, what do you think?
Yep, Bama.
Brant, any thoughts?
I was gonna say Charleston just for a little fun factor, but you guys would pick Bama. That's where we're on.
Yeah, I like it. I would find it fun though, because I don't like the SEC, so I would find it fun if they win. All right, Brant, we'll go to you first for this one. Clemson, and New Mexico. What are your thoughts?
I'm going New Mexico. They're hot right now. Just ran through their conference tournament with a bunch of good wins, and I really like their backcourt. They got Mashburn, the former Minnesota player, who's really balling out there for them. Jalen House, who I'm not sure if you guys have seen like that little clip. I think Barcel posted it of him talking, and he like kind of sounds like Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of funny, but fun guy to root for. So why not go with Lobos?
What do you think, Sonny?
Yeah, I mean, if he sounds like Patrick Mahomes, I'm assuming they're a winner, so I'll agree.
Yeah, I agree. New Mexico, as much as I think the Mountain West is a little bit fraudulent this year, I think the ACC is even more fraudulent. So, Philip, Ohio State is a 2 seed in the NIT against Cornell. All right, very good. I know Brant's an Ohio State fan as well, so that's good to see. We'll get to the NIT after we're done with this. But thank you, Philip. I'm glad you put that in there. Baylor and Colgate. Listen, guys, I know Baylor got ran out of the gym by Michigan State earlier this year, but I still believe in Scott Drew and what they're able to do. So I'm gonna go with Baylor here. But Brant, what are your thoughts?
I'm agreed. Baylor. There's no reason they should be losing this game.
Yeah. What do you think, Sonny?
Completely agree.
All right. Baylor, Dayton, Nevada. I think Dayton is a good team this year, so I am inclined to choose them, but I also would not, be upset if anybody chose Nevada because I could see that happening too. But what are your thoughts, Sonny?
I'm going with Dayton.
What do you think, Grant?
I'm putting Dayton on my fraud meter. They're on fraud watch, so I'm going to go Nevada and leave it to you, JR.
All right, I'll go with Dayton. I could honestly go either way in that one, but I think Dayton's shooting wins it for them. I just think they're a better shooting team. So Arizona, what was it? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Got upset by Princeton in the first round. They're playing another 15 seed here. Long Beach State, the team that had their coach fired, and he won the tournament for him. So now they're in. But I think his magic probably ends here. I'm going to pick Arizona. Either of you guys differ on that?
Nope.
I'm going Long Beach State. Just because I think the coach being fired and then coaching out the NCAA tournament and then winning a game would just be an electric kind of story. The kind of story you only see in the NCAA tournament. And Arizona, I mean, they drop games like that all the time to teams they shouldn't be losing to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you convinced me, Brent.
He's weighed me too. So yeah, we're sweeping.
We do need a 15 seed upset because they seem to happen way more often now. So, and Arizona, it's already happened to them once. So,
why not again?
Russ says Long Beach State keeps the Disney movie going. I love that. All right. So, Long Beach State, Dayton, do they keep the Disney movie going here, Sonny?
Sure. Why not? Yeah. Okay, they do.
Brant?
We're going Long Beach State. Why not just put it in the championship at this point?
That might be a little much, but okay. All right, New Mexico, the 11 seed, just upset Clemson versus Baylor, the 3 seed. Thoughts there, Brant?
I mean, I genuinely like New Mexico here. I think they have the talent to stack up with Baylor, and we see. I mean, Scott Drew is a great coach, but other than that one championship he had a few years ago, he's also one of those teams that, I mean, that they lose early on in the tournament often.
Now I see why you like Long Beach State, Brant. Long Beach State beat Michigan.
That's right.
And USC. You just had a natural desire for them based on that. So,
yeah, there's a connection there. I mean, who didn't beat Michigan though?
That's kind of true. Sonny, Brant thinks New Mexico State. Do you differ? What are your thoughts?
I do differ. I just like Scott Drew, so I'm going to go with Baylor. So JR is going to be up to you again.
Yeah, I believe more in Scott Drew than I do New Mexico State. So for that reason, I'll go with Baylor. But foreshadowing, it might not last long. All right, go on to the next one. Because now that I remember that information that Philip shared, I also have a motivation. All right, Grand Canyon, Alabama. Sonny, what are your thoughts here?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right. Good analysis.
Yeah, we'll go Bama here.
All right. North Carolina, Mississippi State. I think North Carolina is one of the best teams in the nation so far. And like I said, I thought both Mississippi State and Michigan State were frauds. So I'm going to go with North Carolina. Brent, what do you think?
I think no matter who ends up winning that first game, it should be a pretty easy one for UNC there to get in the Sweet 16.
Agreed.
All right, go with North Carolina. All right, a little bit more tougher game here. North Carolina and Alabama. What do you think here, Sonny?
I think I'm still leaning North Carolina. I'm just trying to figure out which one seed. I don't think. Oh, actually, never mind. In the previous bracket, we had Illinois advancing, didn't we? So I'll say the one seed here goes North Carolina.
All right, we weren't biased at all, were we? Oh wait, Brant, your thoughts? I was thinking North Carolina too, but do you have any thoughts?
No, I'm with you. I'm also thinking North Carolina. I just don't think. I mean, we've seen Alabama give up over 100 points multiple times this year, and that they just don't have the defense to really make it run in March.
Well, and they lost to Chris Holtman, Ohio State. So, like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they seem like a fraudulent team to me. There's a lot of teams I'm saying that about. In all honesty, like, who actually is the team to beat? I mean, you've got your top 3 teams, and then everyone else is honestly kind of frauds.
yeah, exactly. All right, before we get to Long Beach, Dave says, congratulations to Dane Munson, gets fired and still makes the tournament. Tell you what, even more congratulations to him. I'm going to pick him to beat Baylor. Brant, let's go back to you. Do you think the same? What are your thoughts?
I mean, why not? Dave's on a roll in this bracket, and we're keeping it rolling St. Peter style, 15 seed of the Elite Eight.
All right, what do you think, Sonny?
All right, let's sweep it then. Let's go.
All right. Last one, North Carolina, Long Beach State. Sonny, what do you think?
Okay.
Put the pressure on you to go first.
I mean, I don't think this is much pressure. I'm going to go with North Carolina.
The magic ends here is what you're saying, huh?
Yeah.
Brett, you agree? What do you think?
I'm with you. The fun ends here. And fun fact, North Carolina is actually the team to put an end to St. Peter's run in the Elite Eight back when they were 15 seed. So why not repeat history here?
That's right. That's right. Good call. All right. Let's go on over here. We'll start at the top and go down. All right. This is Nebraska's region right here. Houston versus Longwood. Is anybody taking Longwood?
Nope.
I didn't think so. All right. Nebraska, Texas A&M, the battle for Trev Alberts. Sonny, what are your thoughts? I'm sure you've heard all about Trev Alberts and everything from Justin.
Constantly. So. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I think I'm going to go with Nebraska here. I don't know much about Texas A&M, and to be honest, I'm a little worried about Nebraska just because they're so new to this, and I really think that once the pressure got on in that game against Illinois, they kind of faltered a little bit, and I do think that the spotlight might be a little bit too bright in their first game in the NCAA tournaments, coming up, but for the sake of Big Ten solidarity, I'll still have them advancing and getting that first win ever.
Yeah, Texas A&M is a little perplexing to me. I think they have if they didn't make the tournament, they would have like some of the most quad 1 wins to ever not make the tournament or something like that. But at the same time, they've also dropped games to Virginia and Memphis and LSU. I mean, Vanderbilt they lost to. I mean, Arkansas, like teams you shouldn't be losing to. But at the same time, they're beating teams like Kentucky, Tennessee, Kentucky in the SEC tournament. So, I mean, I'm kind of conflicted here. But at the end of the day, I just feel like Nebraska has a sense of consistency. So I'm going to take Nebraska. What do you think, Brant?
I'm with you on Nebraska, but it's definitely not an easy one. Just not a gimme. Texas A&M has a lot of talent, and like you said, they can stack up against anybody. They also can lose to anybody. Wade Taylor for them is like a Terrence Shannon type of player where he can just go out and drop 40 on any given night and take down any team. But I guess probably a little more inconsistent than what you see with Shannon. But I mean, there's some talent on that team. But at the same time, we're not picking against Tony Naga. Come on.
Right. So we'll go Nebraska there. Philip says Minnesota plays the 4 seed Butler in the NIT. So what would that make them, a 5 seed? Then I'm excited to see Minnesota continue playing. And then Philip also says Tominaga time. Texas A&M is a fraud. How many frauds can we label in this NCAA tournament? Because I'm looking for it. Give some ammunition to the Ohio State people to say Ohio State should have been in. All right, Sonny, you just faced Wisconsin. They're going up against James Madison. James Madison beat Michigan State earlier on in the season. A lot of people are saying this is the upset to go to. What say you, Sonny?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw this matchup, I was kind of thinking the same thing. And the fact that they are a 5-12 matchup, and I always kind of look for one of those. Sorry to Badgers fans. It'd be such a Wisconsin season to start off so well, nosedive in the middle, and then catch fire and only to falter in your first game in the NCAA tournament. So, unfortunately, I'm going to go with James Madison here.
All right, what do you think, Brent?
I'm with you. It's the easy 12-5 to pick. James Madison's been great all season long, dominated their conference. The overtime win against Michigan State was awesome. Why not be another Big Ten team?
All right. Let the record show I was going to pick Wisconsin because I believe in Chucky Hepburn, but it's fine. We'll go with James Madison. All right, Duke and Vermont. Brant, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I have not watched a single Vermont game all year, so I really don't know anything about them. What I do know is Duke is consistently losing in the first round of the tournament to teams like Vermont, but I don't think it happens here. I think Duke can get past. We did see them not play great basketball last week. They kind of let NC State step through them and make a little push, but I think they can get it done here.
They're gonna trip them up and beat them. Got it? Get it?
Yeah, a little Filipowski action.
Yeah. What do you think? I already took Duke, but what do you think, Sonny?
Fair enough. We can go with Duke. I also don't know much about Vermont.
Yeah, the Catamounts. I know that. Texas Tech, NC State. Texas Tech feels kind of like frauds to me. Big 12. I don't know. I just don't like the Big 12, and I don't think it's as good of a conference as some people say. And I think NC State's really hot right now, so I'm going to go with NC State. What say you, Sonny?
No, I got to go with Texas Tech. I think NC State. Right. Those 5 wins in 5 days. I don't see them continuing it much longer.
All right. What do you think, Brent?
I'm with you with Texas Tech. I think that run took really everything out of NC State, and with a big fellow like DJ Burns, you can't be playing 5 games in 5 days and not get a little winded. So we're gonna go with the Red Raiders.
Listen, I will respect the decision, but get DJ Burns in front of that buffet at the NCAA tournament, and I'm just saying, might get some extra strength there. Anyway. Kentucky and Oakland. I've not watched a single Oakland game this year. I know they played somebody in the Big Ten. I'm forgetting who it was, but I did not.
They played Ohio State early on.
They played Ohio State?
They did, yeah.
Must have been one of the Big Ten Plus games because I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think it was Big Ten Plus. It was really early on. Funny thing about them, they have this one white dude who's he's a shooter. And I think he's taken 8 career 2-point shots and like 300 plus three-point shots. Yeah, I mean Justin Orange practically, but like it's crazy. He just sits out of the line and straps. That's the type of guy that can make a name for himself in March.
So you picking him then, Brent?
I don't know if I'm that bold. I don't think I'm bold enough to take him over Kentucky. Kentucky's a really talented team.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kentucky too. What do you think, Sonny?
Absolutely, I think Kentucky's one of those teams that their ceiling is sky high, but they're also pretty young, and they're a candidate to be an early exit too.
Yeah, that's true. The one guy on the TV, he had Kentucky in the Final Four, which I thought was interesting, but I guess we'll see if we get him there. Florida, the playing game, Colorado, Boise State. Brant, we'll let you go first in this one. Florida does have their big man who gets injured. Hopefully he gets healthy and stuff like that, but who do you think wins this one, Brant?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be tough without him, but I also think that this Florida team has some pretty solid depth, so they can make up for losing Micah, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. It's kind of a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Gators here. I just think they've got a build of a team that can potentially make some noise in March.
What do you think, Sonny?
Yeah, I agree. I think Florida has low-key been one of the better teams in the country over the past month and a half. So I think they make it out of round 1.
They only have 2 losses this season to teams that are not tournament teams, and that's Wake Forest and Ole Miss. So I'm going to go with Florida as well. I think they might be a little bit underrated, but the injury always makes that a concern. So we'll see what goes on there. But Marquette, Western Kentucky. Sonny, what are your thoughts here?
I saw Marquette firsthand. I think our 4th or 5th game of the year, where they prevailed in Champaign. So I'm going to go with Marquette.
All right. I'm going to go with Marquette too. Brant, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I like Marquette here as well.
All right, Marquette's Florida. How much do you really like Marquette, Brant?
I don't know what the status of Tyler Kolek is going to be because he's been out their past few games, and that's a big, big difference maker. I think if he's healthy, they can win this game, but I'm not sure he's going to be full health. I'm going to go Florida.
Wow. All right, Sonny, what do you think?
See, now I was actually thinking he was going to pick Marquette so that I could pick Florida and you could be the decision maker here. So now I feel like I'm going to go with. Now I still want you to make the decision because I think this is 50-51. So I'm going to say Marquette and make you choose.
I think Tyler Kolek will be back, so I'm going to go with Marquette. And I think he's a difference maker. So, but honestly, like I pointed out with Florida, they don't lose to teams that aren't tournament teams often. So it could be an interesting one with them. So Kentucky, Texas Tech. I'm going to pick Kentucky. I just think Reed Shepherd is too good and things going on. I think that they're just a more talented team than Texas Tech. So I'm going to go with them. What are your thoughts, Sonny?
Completely agree. I think Kentucky wins this one pretty easily.
Yeah. What do you think, Brant?
I mean, I was going to go Texas Tech. Like Sonny said, this Kentucky team is just super, super young. And it seems like that they are a candidate for an early exit. And Texas Tech is just a team full of veterans, the kind of team that can step in and give them a bump. But I think Kentucky's insanely talented and they could go on a run. So we can roll with them here.
All right. James Madison and Duke. So Brant, what's your thoughts on this one?
I don't like this Duke team to make it to the second weekend. But since with them matching up against James Madison rather than Wisconsin, it's definitely I'd be way more inclined to pick against them if it were Wisconsin in this spot. But just for the sake of fading Duke, we're going to go with James Madison.
I was actually going to say if James Madison is able to beat Wisconsin, I feel like they're able to beat Duke. So I'm going to go James Madison too. Sonny, you have any thoughts?
I was going to go with Duke, but go James Madison.
You just got outvoted. That's the name of the game. Houston, Nebraska. Listen, all right. Phillips a smart man. Nebraska over Houston. They're a wounded animal. Iowa State exposed it. I agree, Phillip. I'm going Nebraska. Sonny?
I'm going with Houston. I've seen them firsthand in the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago, and they're just a havoc to play against. So I'm going to go with Houston.
All right. What do you think, Brant?
Yeah, I think for Nebraska to be able to even contend with Houston, they're going to have to have like the most perfect shooting day of all time and play a little more defense than they typically do. I think Houston just would probably run them out off the court 8 times out of 10. So we'll go with Houston.
They did beat Purdue, though, which I guess was at home, but makes sense.
They did.
I was getting ready to say Houston was probably the best 1 seed matchup for them, but I don't know if I can say that if they already beat a 1 seed. So, all right, Houston, James Madison. Brant, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm taking Houston here every day of the week.
Yeah, if Houston beats Nebraska, I'll take them here too. Sonny, you have any differing opinions on that?
Nope, I completely agree.
All right. This one's a pretty big one here. Marquette and Kentucky still a little bit unsure with the Tyler Kolek injury, but also the freshman of Kentucky. Sonny, what do you think?
I think Marquette wins this one. We're looking at 2 completely different style of teams. Everyone came back on Marquette, and I think they came back to make a run this tournament. So I'm going to go with Marquette.
Brant?
Yeah, you nailed it. The retention is just so big for this tournament. The experience is the deciding factor here for me. We're going Marquette.
Yeah, I'm going Marquette too. Just a lot because I'm banking on Tyler Kolek being back. So Houston and Marquette. I am going to actually go with Marquette in this one. I will pick against Houston again just because I think Houston's kind of like the Gonzaga where they're really good every year, but I don't think they actually make it to the I guess Gonzaga did make it Final Four a couple times, but they never finished it out. I think Marquette's going to be too much for him here. What do you think, Sonny?
I could go either way, but I think I'll lean with Marquette.
Brant, you agree?
I mean, I was going to go Houston, but y'all outvoted me here. We're going Marquette to the Final Four.
All right, Marquette to the Final Four. Love it. All right, Purdue. Anybody picking the 16 seed?
I kind of want to just for the meme.
No, I'm just teasing. Of course not.
Just kidding. Utah, TCU super athletic. I kind of think they're going to be a little too athletic for Utah State. I don't think that Utah State's going to be able to keep up with them. I think Utah State's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I think TCU will be able to outplay them in this one. So I'm going to go with TCU. What are your thoughts, Sonny?
Honestly, I don't know much about these two teams, so I'll ride with JR.
All right, Brant.
I'm with you on the Frogs as well. Athleticism wins.
All right, 5-12 matchup. Gonzaga, McNeese. I have my thoughts, but I'll let Brant go first on this one.
I mean, this one is an even easier 12 over 5 hammer for me than James Madison over Wisconsin is. Gonzaga, I mean, they had that win in Rupp against Kentucky, which pretty much solidified them into the tournament. But that's really all they had going for him. And Will Wade's a great coach. He got McNeese here with 3 losses the whole year, I believe. So they're going to be a tough out. I'm going to go with McNeese.
McNeese beat Michigan. So
hey, there we go.
If we're riding the Long Beach State train, what are your thoughts, Sonny?
No, I like McNeese. I think Wade is a really, really good coach. And so I'm not very confident at all in Gonzaga this year. So I'm riding with McNeese too.
All right. I think McNeese. Got a few comments here, so we're going to go through these. Alibaba Gophers ready to make an NIT run and a potential second-round matchup with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That would be fun. That would be a really fun game if Minnesota plays Indiana State in the second round. That's must-watch TV. Kent, casual Big Ten. I bought the Wi-Fi on the flight home just to listen to you boys. I'm also taking all these bracket picks and submitting them for $10,000 bracket pool, so no pressure.
So does that mean we get a cut?
I was going to say, yeah. Do we get a cut for that? Either you had a really good time gambling and you don't care to pay the money for the Wi-Fi, or you had a really good time drinking and you really are going to put these in a $10,000 bracket pool. One of those two happened for you, Kent. All right, let's go back here. Kansas and Samford. Samford, they played another team earlier this year that they played Purdue. They played Purdue, and Purdue killed them. So, but I still am going to go with Kansas in this one. What's going on with Hunter Dickinson? Does anybody know?
That's what I was going to ask, because I heard there's a chance he might not be there.
That's what I heard too.
I'm going to go with Samford. I'm just going to lay it out there. Let Brant decide between these two.
Brant, you're the decision maker, man.
Hey, I mean, we've called so many upsets. I'm gonna keep it a buck and just go with Kansas. But they're definitely in a spot where they could lose with really no depth.
Says he dislocated his shoulder. Nothing solidified yet, but that could also just be them trying to play that game where nobody knows if they're in or not. Yeah, screw it. I don't like Bull Self, so Samford.
Hey, there you go.
Have the 13-12 matchup there. All right, so I think this is another interesting one here. We got Lamont Paris and South Carolina going up against the hot Dana Altman, Oregon. Why am I blanking? Ducks. I don't know why I couldn't think. I almost wanted to say like Sonics. I was like, it's not Sonics. Sonic is nothing like a duck. Brant, who do you have in this one?
I mean, Oregon's coming to the Big Ten next year. Why not take them here?
What do you think, Sonny? Sonny, you're muted.
I think I want to go with Lamont Paris. I think his name keeps being mentioned by a lot of the country for all these big jobs, and I think the nation kind of learns about him today, or in that game.
I am going to go, just because of the Ohio ties, I'm going to go with Lamont Paris. So I do have the Big Ten thought like you, Brant, but I can't deny the Ohio coach there. So I'm going to go with Lamont. Greg McDermott and Creighton versus Akron, who only got to the tournament because the Kent State foul, which I feel
so bad for that kid.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Brant, you have a thought here on who you're going to pick?
If you want to stick with the Ohio ties, Akron is literally in Ohio, but I can't pick against the Blue Jays. I think this is one of the better teams in the nation. The sleeper pick to potentially even go all the way. I like them here.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Sonny?
Yep, exactly. I'm with Creighton.
All right, Texas versus the playing game, Virginia, Colorado State. I don't think Virginia even deserved to be in the tournament personally, but Colorado State, Mountain West team, doing okay. But I don't know how much they're actually going to perform in the tournament because Mountain West teams don't always do the best unless you're San Diego State. So, what are your thoughts here, Sonny?
I think Texas needs a win here. A lot of their fan base is already starting to question whether the hire of their coach to make him the official coach was the right one. So I think they come through and they at least go through round one at least.
All right. What do you think, Brant?
Yeah, I think it's a super winnable game for Texas. We're going to go with them here.
All right, Texas, Tennessee, St. Peter's. Tennessee has looked a little vulnerable at times this season, but Dalton Knecht is still one of the best players in the nation. Sonny, I know that he's not as good as Terrence Shannon Jr., but you still picking Tennessee in this one?
Absolutely. Although I could scare the Purdue guys and have St. Peter's meet them at the end again, but we'll go with Tennessee here.
What are your thoughts, Brant?
Yeah, it should be an easy balls pick here. I know they're inconsistent, but I'm pretty high on them still too. I know Sonny saw them beat his team earlier this year. That seems like they can stack up pretty well with anyone.
Very good. We'll go with Tennessee. Dave is saying, congratulations to 2 former Golden Gopher coaches and 1 former Gopher player that now coaching Colorado State. I did not know that. That's cool to know, Dave. Appreciate that. I still am not going to pick Colorado State / Virginia, but good to know. Appreciate that. You guys have any thoughts on Golden Gophers coaches and players now being coaches for Colorado State?
Cool.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either. But another former Golden Gopher over at New Mexico, Richard Pitino, their head coach. So
that is true.
And I think we have him making a bit of a run there. So
I think we had him going up against Baylor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got him winning a game. There's our Minnesota respect for that.
There we go. All right, Texas, Tennessee. You still believe in Tennessee, Brant?
Yeah, I think they can get it done here.
All right, I think Tennessee too. You have any thoughts, Sonny?
Nope, I agree.
All right, Lamont Parrots versus Greg McDermott, the South Carolina versus Creighton. Sonny, have any thoughts?
I think I'm going to go with Creighton.
That's what I was going to say too. You agree, Brent?
Yeah, Creighton for sure.
I can only go Ohio for so long until they run into Creighton. All right, 12-13 matchup, McNeese and Samford here. I'll go ahead and go first. I think Will Wade, McNeese wins this one personally. Sonny, what do you think?
That makes 2 of us.
All right, Brant, you agree?
Full sweep. We're going McNeese.
There we go. All right, the almighty Boilermakers, Zach Edey is coming to the paint, and TCU better watch out. Sonny, who you picking?
Boiler up.
Boiler up. I agree. Brant, you boiling up?
We're boiling up.
All right. I tell you what, I'm just going to keep boiling up because I'm going to pick Purdue again. I think Purdue's going to take down McNeese and Will Wade. Take that, Will Wade. You stupid LSU team that lost all your players. Sonny, what do you think?
Is this really their bracket? Jeez. Yeah, Purdue again.
Brant, you agree?
I was going to say McNeese, just, the history of Purdue meeting a double-digit seed usually does not end up in their favor.
That is true. I did not do that intentionally at all.
But if we're boiling up, we're boiling up. We'll send him to the Elite Eight.
But if Braden Smith is healthy, I mean, if Braden Smith is healthy, there's no reason they shouldn't get to the Elite Eight in this.
Yeah, this half
bracket. Yeah,
this half is insanely easy for them to get to the Elite Eight.
Look, sheesh.
Yeah, I'm for it. All right, Creighton and Tennessee then. Brant, what do you think?
I really don't know which way I want to go on this one, but I think whoever wins it takes out Purdue. I'm going to go Creighton. I think they've just been a little more consistent this year than Tennessee has been.
I'm going to go Creighton too. Sonny, were you going to pick Tennessee?
I was going to pick Tennessee.
Yeah. We outvoted you. Sorry. I should have picked Tennessee just so that way we could see Dalton Connect play Zach Edey for National Player of the Year, since people are arguing about that. All right, Purdue, Creighton. I'll throw my hat in first. I think Purdue's going to win. I think Purdue's team of destiny this year. I think they're going to make it to the Final Four. What do you think, Sonny?
I've been saying that for about a month now. I think, as you said, Purdue's the team of destiny this year, and I would be shocked if they didn't win it all. So I'm going to go with Purdue.
I'm out here trying my hardest to knock Purdue out, but you guys just won't let it happen here. Too hard on the Boilermakers.
I told Dick I would be defending Purdue this time, so he just didn't know I'd be defending them all episode long, all the way to the Final Four. Russ brings up, Purdue already beat Tennessee, so pick them. I keep forgetting about that game because I keep thinking about the Illinois-Tennessee game, so I keep forgetting about when Purdue played them. But all right, so our Final Four. Wow, we have 2 Big Ten teams in the Final Four. Awesome. This is going to go well. Illinois, North Carolina, Marquette, Purdue. Brant, which one do you want to start with, and who are you going to pick?
I'll actually take Purdue over Marquette, so we can start there.
Wow. All right. Sonny, let's start there. Purdue or Marquette?
Purdue's my pick to win it all this year, so I have to pick Purdue.
All right. Okay. Tell you what, Illinois, North Carolina, Illinois. I'm going to Illinois.
This would be how funny would
2
this
Big
be?
Ten teams in the national championship in one of the worst years of the Big Ten it's ever had. Sonny, what do you think?
Can you imagine an Illinois versus Purdue final championship game? Oh my God, Twitter would be unbearable. It would shut down that particular night. But again, I'll let you two decide. I'm going to say Illinois just because if by chance they were to win and I didn't pick them, I'd feel like the worst fan in the world.
Brant, are you taking Illinois too?
We're sending Illinois to the Natty here, just to temporarily shut down Twitter and our theoretical championship game. Purdue, Illinois, why not?
I so much want this to happen now because
can you imagine?
If Dylan Kuhn after the win was smoking a cigar on their podcast, if they win the national championship over Illinois, can you imagine what he's doing on the podcast then? I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, at the beginning of Sonny, I love Illinois. At the beginning of the episode, I told Dick that I was going to defend Purdue's honor on this episode because they didn't have a Purdue representative, and Purdue has basically beat everyone on their way. Tennessee, they beat Marquette earlier in the season. They beat Illinois twice already this year. Sonny, I'm sorry, but I'm choosing Purdue. Who are you choosing, Sonny? Please choose Illinois, so we have to make Brant choose.
I've been very, very clear on who I think is going to win the title this year. I think it's a storybook ending for we know who. But for the sake of this bracket, if it's Illinois-Purdue at the end, oh my God. And there's no way in my good conscience I can say Purdue. So I'm going to go with my Illini.
All right, so we have Big Banter CEO, Brant, the CEO of Big Ten Media, Big Banter Sports. Brant, you have to pick between the 2 big dogs in the Big Ten. They didn't meet in the Big Ten Championship, but they're meeting in the National Championship of college basketball. Who are you picking?
Man, I really I can't not take Purdue here, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Sonny. But they're for you, Dick. This one's for you. I mean, like you said, Purdue along the way, they knock out all these teams that they've already played. We've seen them match up with Illinois twice. They took care of business both times. They do it a third time if they met the championship.
All right, so we do have some reference here for the score. Purdue beat Illinois 77-71, and they also beat them 83-78. So my thought is we just take the difference of the 2 and do – Russ. Oh my gosh. So my thought is we take the difference of the 2 and we go 80 to what is that? 75, 76? What do you think, Brant? 75 or 76?
76. We'll give Tanner Shannon an extra free throw there.
All right. That's it. Finish the bracket. We've locked it in. Look at that. Nice little Purdue logo bouncing up. Philip says 90-89. Dick was saying an 80 or a 90-point game there, but yeah. So I had no intention of picking Purdue to win it all in this. I was just going off vibes, and my vibe led me to Purdue the entire time. So you're welcome,
Same.
Boilermakers.
No, but hopefully they're going to be nice to me now after the last episode I was on. They weren't very nice, but now I have you guys literally winning it. So come on.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to bring the NIT up here in just a second. Brant, Sonny, why don't you guys talk about, I don't know, talk about something while I bring this up. This was not very well thought out by me.
I don't know. I have not seen the NIT bracket yet, so I'm excited for you to pull this up. I know someone mentioned in the comments Ohio State's got a game with Cornell, so that should be fun. But I'm excited to kind of see what the rest of the path looks like for the Bucks.
And we all have to agree that we have two Big Ten teams meeting in the final, so then we might as well have two Big Ten teams meeting in the final of the NIT too, right? We just got to figure out in the line which two teams.
We got to go purely based off vibes, like JR said. But if that does happen to lead us to two Big Ten teams in the final, that's just how it was meant to be.
Okay. All right. I think I have it here. I have to save the image. Oh my gosh. It's an AVF file. They're killing me here. Okay. I should be able to bring it up this way. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Don't pay attention to the. I think I can zoom in though. This was not very well planned out. There we go. See, I'm like Mark Rogers zooming in on my screen over here.
That's our bracket, right?
This is
That's
the
the
NCAA
tournament.
tournament.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here. Talk about Dave's thing.
Dave, that's just how it turned out. Okay. Trust me, for me as an Illinois fan, I just want to make it out of the first round or first weekend. Once I just kept picking Illinois, thinking the other guys would not pick Illinois, but they just agreed, and we advanced on numbers, 2 out of 3. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely no bias. That's how it's going to go down.
But for the record, Illinois absolutely could make the final. When they play their A game, depending on matchups, again, there's only a couple teams that can really take them down. But Illinois is also a team that could lose in the second round to BYU. So it's...
Yeah, I mean, I do think you guys have the sauce. You just have so many different ways to score and to get it done. But that is just one gauntlet of a bracket. It's going to be real tough for them to I mean, they should theoretically make it to the Sweet 16. But if they get there, it just gets harder and harder.
I do wonder if Purdue fans are a little less sure about their team after that last game, though, because you really saw that when Braden Smith is not playing, Purdue's entire style changes. Lance Jones is not really the playmaking point guard that Smith is, and Smith is a killer. Don't get me wrong. I've propped him up as much as I can the last couple of weeks, especially after what he did to us. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if Braden Smith goes down, like that Purdue offense changes a lot.
If it's going to happen for Purdue, they need Braden Smith fully healthy. So yeah. I mean, I was surprised he was playing after kind of suffering that injury against Michigan State, but they were there to try to get it done.
Success.
Here we go.
Thanks for stalling, guys. Great job. All right, so let's go through and find the Big Ten teams. Number 1, Seton Hall versus St. Joseph's, LSU, Providence, Princeton, Boston College, UNLV. So there's no Big Ten teams in that region. Wake Forest, App State, Georgia, Xavier, Virginia Tech, Richmond. There we go. There's Ohio State, number 2 versus Cornell. All right, let's start with this region, and then we'll get to the next ones as we go. So, Brant, your thoughts on Ohio State being the 2 seed, Wake Forest being the 1 seed in this region?
Yeah, I think that the NIT selection committee here got it right. Ohio State was, close to that tournament bubble, but they probably had to win 2 more games in the Big Ten tournament to realistically have a shot of making the actual field, especially with all the bid sealers that kind of emerged and knocked a few extra spots off the bubble. So seeing them as a 2 seed, being in that next 4 out kind of is, I guess, where I would expect them to be. These are home games, right? So they're going to be playing Cornell at home.
I think,
I'm,
yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
think it gets to Hinkle Fieldhouse until the Final Four.
right.
Somebody in the chat correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's how the NIT goes. Ohio State hasn't been in the NIT for so long. I don't remember. Last year they didn't make the NIT.
Yeah, we missed a cut there last year, and we weren't on the right side of it, of missing the NIT. It was even worse that we actually just didn't make it to the NIT. But yeah, I mean, for Ohio State, it's going to be good for them. I mean, just hired Jake Dealer full time, so it's going to be good for them to keep playing. I know some teams like St. John's and Indiana rejected the NIT. I don't know if Indiana was actually even invited, but I saw St. John's did reject their invite. Which it makes sense. Those guys had higher aspirations and then they missed the tournament and were frustrated. For us, it's a new coach, it's a young team. It's going to be good to go get them some more experience playing together. And I mean, I don't know anything about Cornell. I'll have to do some research there. But I think just the way we're playing right now, we should be able to take care of business. And I like the way we stack up to get to Wake Forest in that kind of regional final.
Yeah. Sonny, do you have any thoughts on Ohio State making it to the Final Four of the NIT here if they're able to do that?
I mean, I can see it happening. You know, teams really turned around since you hired the new coach, and sure, let's go with the Buckeyes. I know who I'm on the panel with.
So to give some background on Cornell is 68th in offense and like 133rd, I think it was, in defense. Ohio State is better than that in both of their 173rd. Sorry, Ohio State is better than that in both of their categories. They are 59th in offense and actually 37th on 37th on offense, 60th on defense. Check and make sure one more time. That's right with Cornell. Yeah. So they're better than them in both areas. So Ohio State should beat Cornell, especially being at home. But I think the team that gives me the most worry in this bracket, possibly Xavier, even though they haven't had a great season and they have a losing record. I still think Xavier's a better team than some people give them credit for. But yeah. So any more thoughts on Ohio State's region there, guys?
No, nothing for me. I'm just excited to see these guys keep playing some ball. It should be fun for them to keep going.
I agree. All right, let's go to the big bracket up here. We have Minnesota as the 5 seed. I guess, they don't really give them the seed, but they're facing the 4 seed. So they would be the 5 seed. Indiana State is the number 1 in this. Iowa must be in the next one. So we'll get to them here in a second. But Minnesota's path here, do you like the 5 seed for them? And do you think that they're going to be able to get by the Thad Matta, Butler, Indiana State, people like that? What are your thoughts, Sonny?
Well, I just had Ali Babwa, who was in the chat on my Big Ten show, talking about Minnesota basketball. So out of loyalty to him, I'll have them advance the first round. But there's no way I can pick them to get past Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that second round.
Yeah, that's a tough draw for them. Brant, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's they kind of had an up and down season. So did Butler. So I really don't know what we're gonna get in this game. It's a fun matchup, and I do want to see that must-see television between Dawson Garcia and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar meeting in the paint. So we'll move Minnesota just for the sake of having that second round matchup.
But real talk, though, I think Minnesota could beat Indiana State. Like, I think they have a really good chance of beating Indiana State just because they don't have nearly the defense that you need to contain a guy like Elijah Hopkins and Dawson Garcia and Cam Christie, too. I mean, Cam Christie's a future NBA player.
Well, I mean, Jared, I think I was last on the panel with you guys when you guys were talking about coaches, and I really talked about how highly I value Ben Johnson. So, yeah, this is not I'm not trying to dig at Minnesota at all. I know. We're talking about, Long Beach State or who was it? Disney stories. This is one of those where there's going to be a movie made about the big guy at Indiana State.
That's true. I'm trying to see when the times of these games are because I don't want to be podcasting during them.
Yeah, I'm in trouble for that. Illinois' first game is Illinois' first game is 2:10 on Thursday, and I've got both a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the missus
geez.
doesn't come home for a couple hours later, so we'll see how I handle that whole post game.
Stick an iPad in front of him, let him watch Miss Rachel or something.
Basically, yeah.
Go over here, watch this, please. Give me my time.
Or if we lose, I'm just not going to go on. Forget it.
Phillips calling his shot, saying NIT Final Four: Ohio State, Minnesota, Iowa, and Princeton. I would love to see that. That would be awesome.
Why not?
Fisherman says highest seed is home for the first 2 rounds. So, yeah. So Final Four is Hinkle Fieldhouse then. First 2. So, sorry. Hinkle Fieldhouse is Final Four and Elite 8. Okay. That makes sense. It is kind of weird the way the words are there, but I can see why they do that. So, before we get to Iowa, will any players from Ohio State, Minnesota, or Iowa into the portal before the NIT starts? I really hope not. Dawson Garcia would be the one that I would be the most concerned about. Do you guys have any thoughts?
Just genuinely asking, he still has eligibility left?
Right, yeah, I'm wondering that too, because we're like, Illinois was in the competition for him like 2 times, I feel like, already in the transfer portal. I didn't even know he was eligible to play again.
He might have to ask for a waiver, but the rumor that I was hearing is that he did have 1 more year of eligibility. I don't have that concrete. That was just a rumor I heard, but I don't know. It's hard. It's impossible to keep track of eligibility nowadays.
The COVID years and everything.
Dave's a Minnesota fan. He says Garcia has 1 more year. So, yeah.
Gotcha. For Ohio State, I think now that it's official, we're rolling with Fiebler. I don't think we lose. I mean, we could potentially lose. Yeah, Fisherman mentioned Zedke. I could see him leaving, but I think just the type of guy Zedke is, I think he'd want to stick around for this kind of one last run with the guys and then potentially hit the portal after that. But I'm feeling optimistic about retaining everybody. I think the same can be said about Iowa. I think they've got a lot of younger guys who seem like they all kind of want to grow together. Minnesota, kind of the same deal. I'd be surprised to see at least maybe like some like backup off the bench who's not really getting any minutes to hop in the portal. But I don't think any relevant rotation players from this team, off the top of my head, we're going to see leave before the NIT.
Yeah, it makes sense. Sonny, Kent's calling you out. Oh, and Parker Fox doesn't get a movie made about him. SMH, Sonny, respect my guy. You have a response to Kent there?
No, Kent's smarter than me. My bad.
Fisherman also says that Chapman is homesick, which Fisherman does know a good amount about the Ohio State basketball program. So if Fisherman is saying it, I believe there is a little bit to that at the very least. So I hope that he's not too homesick. I hope he gets home over the summer and comes back not homesick.
Right. He's one of those guys, like I mentioned, where you're not really playing. Definitely could be the type of person who wasn't really going to play anyways in the NIT. So they could hit the portal. And he's one I wouldn't be surprised to see leave, but definitely hope we get him back next year.
I hope so too. Kent, wash your mouth out with soap. Owen Freeman should hit the portal if ever wants to make a tournament run. You wash your mouth out with soap, Kent. We love Owen Freeman, and we want him to be with Fran forever, or at least however long Fran is there for. Yes, I did hear that too. Fisherman, Ohio State's NIL is huge this year for basketball. I did hear that as well. So that will help keep guys for sure. All right. Speaking of Iowa and Owen Freeman, Iowa is the 3 seed matching up against Jerome Tang and Kansas State. I have to be honest, I hate this matchup for Iowa. I think Jerome Tang's a really good coach, and I think that he always has his guys up and ready to play. So I'm not saying that I'm picking against Iowa here, but I don't really like this matchup. You have any thoughts, Brant?
Where's the matchup? I don't know if I'm
down
blind.
Here. 3.
Oh yeah, Kansas. Yeah, I'm not sure I love that matchup for them either. I think Kansas State probably gets that one done. Iowa just, that they haven't been that hot as of late as well.
Yeah. You have any thoughts, Sonny?
No, I mean Iowa's young. I'd go with Kansas State as well.
Yeah. I do like this Iowa team, but they are kind of the inverse of one another. Jerome Tang has his guys play really good defense. That's why I was just checking. Ken Palm has a Kansas State 22nd on defense, and Iowa's 15th on offense. And then Kansas State is 138th on offense, and Iowa is 153 on defense. So it will be a good matchup from that standpoint. We'll see what happens there, but I think if they beat Kansas State, they should be able to take on Utah or UC Irvine. I'm not really that scared of Villanova as a 1 seed. So honestly, if Iowa gets past the first game there, I could see a path for them to get to the Final Four.
I agree. I think Kansas State's probably the hardest matchup for them in that entire region, so that they probably got the worst draw they could have gotten there.
Right.
Yeah. South Florida is the other really good team in that region, but they're buried to not see them until the Elite Eight. So if UCF or Villanova takes care of them. But all right. And yes, Fisherman pointed out Iowa is at home. Will Iowa be home with the women's tournament being home for the NCAA tournament? Surely they would schedule that differently. So that way they're not playing at the same time, but I don't know. I don't know how that works.
That's a
I've
good
never
question.
encountered a situation, but we all know women's basketball would take precedent over the men's.
They would just have the men's team drop out.
Yeah. Or they would go play on a playground. Yeah. You guys go over there. We need the arena for Caitlin Clark. Oh, man. All right. I think that's all I got, guys. I appreciate you coming on. Let me switch over here. So, Brant, why don't you tell people about Big Banter Sports for a second before we get out of here?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not already following, go follow us at Big Banter Sports on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and check out our website, bigbannersports.com. Got some blogs in the work to, right now it's kind of a lull, but with football season coming up here, and definitely not really coming up, but with the news, with spring games and whatnot starting to pick up, we'll start to be pumping out some stories out there. So be sure to check it out.
Awesome. Sonny, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the Illini Cast? Oh, there you are. You're gone. Go find Sonny. He actually just texted me. He said my internet just crapped out. So go find Sonny on the Illini Cast. I went ahead and linked that in the description. I think I linked Big Banter in there as well. So go check that out. And hey, go enter the bracket challenge, free t-shirt from Home Field for whoever wins. So good prize there. And we'll have a good time. So thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate you. Have a good night.